Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef, and I have been hiking up and down Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens for a week, and I'm ready for a really hearty omelet. So we are going to make a spicy mushroom, onion, and jalapeno omelet. It can stand up to hiking, biking, camping, you name it. You will find this delicious whether you're at home or on the road like I am. So as part of cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef, let's cook. So here are the ingredients for our spicy mushroom and onion omelet. We're going to use half of this onion, this whole thing of mushrooms, and this whole jalapeno to make the filling. Now, I know you're not going to use all of this in the omelet itself. You literally could not stuff that into the egg mix. So we're going to make extra of this that you can use for your lunch and your dinner. This tastes really good on hamburgers. That's just a hint. The other thing we're going to use is a 1/4 cup of shredded cheese, 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of butter, well actually 2 tablespoons of butter to make this, and then 1 teaspoon of butter to make the omelet itself, and then we're going to salt and pepper to taste. So let me show you how to put all this together. And to make our mushroom and onion mix, we're just going to cut the top off the onion. We're going to use half the onion, and actually what I'll do is just do it like this because we want the onion in strips. And then we just cut this bottom off. Okay, and make sure there's no onion skin on it. And then we'll just cut it. Oops, I got some pine needles on the knife. That happens when you're cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef. I've probably eaten, at this point I've been on the road for almost 2 months, I've probably eaten 1.5 pounds of pine needles and not realized it. They're quite tasty. So then I'm just cutting the onion in half this way. And then we're just going to cut it into these little strips. These can go right in the pan because they're going to cook down with the mushrooms. And I know some people go nuts. They're like, well, you got to preheat the pan. Well, trust me, on propane, the pan will preheat in about a minute, even with this stuff in it. So I'm not that concerned about that. There's so many different ways to cook, and this is my way. And I can't wait to see what other people do with this recipe. But I really love it. I have a onion and mushroom, sauteed onion and mushroom recipe on StepByStepChef.com that is just general, and it's very tasty. But I've tried this on this trip with the jalapeno, making it all spicy. And, ooh, wow. It just brought a whole new level to the dish, especially if you like your food on the spicy side. Wear a glove if you don't want to touch your eye or your nose and get burned. Wear a glove when you do this. I do sometimes, but since I'm out camping, I'm like, yeah. I just do have to remember, though, not to touch my eye or anything else. I usually do wear a glove, or I do this with a knife and fork, just so I don't come in contact with the hot oils and the jalapeno. So I'm just cleaning out the seeds, quart it, and then we're just going to give it a quick mince. You don't want huge pieces of jalapeno in this. It's more of a seasoning. If you put huge pieces in, you're going to see people around the table light up as they eat it, especially if it's a really hot jalapeno. But I do like this. It's very spicy. And then we just give it a mince. It doesn't have to be perfect. But boy, does it add some flavor. Okay, there's nothing like cooking in the great outdoors. I hope you do check out my camping videos about tent camping, but they also do apply to glampers, cabin people, RVers, and even people who throw their sleeping bag down on the ground. I think even they would still want to have a tasty meal every now and then. That's just about the only version of camping I can't get myself to do. I like to at least have a tent around me so the critters can't get at me, supposedly. Now, I did rinse off the jalapeno, and I rinsed off these mushrooms. Oops, that wasn't an earthquake. Sorry, I bumped the tripod. And we're just going to slice up the mushrooms. And so slice them this way, and then we'll go this way, because they have to be small enough to fit in the omelet when we're done. So we're just doing this. I think you get the point. You don't need to see me do each and every one of these mushrooms, unless you want to. You want to? You want to hang out and watch me do this for 5 minutes? Probably not. I'll be right back. And here we are over at the old stove. And as usual, know how to start your stove before you hit the road. Read the instructions. Do it safely. And I'm just going to turn the gas on. You hear the hiss? And that's started. So I have it on about medium heat. It's a little tough to calibrate these, so you're going to have to learn to play with the gas a little bit with the handle to get it up and down as needed. And what we're going to do is just take our mushrooms and onions. I just tuck the butter in there. It'll melt pretty fast underneath. And once we get that butter melted, that's our 2 tablespoons of butter, we'll just stir it in and keep stirring the ingredients together. And this will be done when the mushrooms are kind of a golden color with a little bit of translucence to the outside. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to melt up this butter, get it rolling, and I'll be right back. And here we are 5 minutes into the process. You can see everything is cooking down nicely. The mushrooms are starting to get that golden color that we're looking for. The onions are turning translucent. We don't want them crunchy. So they're adding a nice flavor to it. And I'm going to guess this is only going to take about another 5 minutes. Just make sure to adjust the temperature if you find that it's burning or it's not cooking. So if it's burning, turn it down. If it's not cooking, turn it up. I wish they had better calibrated handles on these gas stoves, but they just don't. Otherwise, just keep giving it a stir and let it cook down. Now, don't let the mushrooms vanish. You still want them to have a presence in this dish. Otherwise, it is not mushroom and onion. But I would say about another 5 minutes and this is all done. And we'll be ready to serve it as a side dish in omelets, on hamburgers, you name it. It is yummy. And 5 minutes later, this is done. I'm just going to stir in a little salt. Don't put in too much. Let people add their own at the table. And a little pepper. So just stir that in. And it's ready. Oh, doesn't that look good? Can you imagine all the different dishes you can use this on? Steak, hamburger, chicken. It goes with just about everything. It's a great standalone too. I'll just take a fork and eat this. Okay, now that our spicy mushroom and onion mix is done, it's as simple as preparing the egg. Very easy process to make this omelet. And I have many, many versions, many omelets on StepByStepChef.com. I hope you'll take a look. They range from the classic Western to some imaginative ones dealing with shrimp, believe it or not, which are actually quite yummy. So here we go. We have our 2 eggs, just a splash of water, just like a teaspoon of water. That helps to fluff the egg up. Don't go to town on that though. You don't want the egg coming over the top of your stove. And then we just give it a good whisking. Get it all mixed up. Okay, that looks good to me. Now I'm going to meet you over at the stove. And I know you read the instructions on how to light your stove, so I don't have to worry about you setting the woods on fire. There's the hiss, there's the light, and turn it down to just under medium heat. Don't have it up on high because you will end up with a crispy omelet. And don't put it too low because you want it to cook, so just under medium. And we'll preheat the pan for 1 minute. And the pan is all preheated. Here is our teaspoon of butter. And we're just using this to coat the bottom of the pan so the egg doesn't stick. And if you have more than a teaspoon of butter, just what you want to do is coat the bottom of the pan and then just take that out of there. And now what we do is pour in our egg mix. And this table's a little bit crooked, just like my stove at home. I know, it's kind of funny. But anyway, so if it's crooked, just tilt it a little bit to make sure that you evenly coat the bottom of the pan with egg. You don't want half of an omelet, you want the whole omelet. And see these little windows, those little dark windows? Once they turn white or yellowish, that means that we have a good floor between the egg and the pan, and then we can add our other ingredients, the cheese and the sauteed mushrooms. So just give it about a minute. It should take a minute, maybe 2, depending on your stove, for those windows to turn a little bit white underneath. You can see it through it. Even on this crooked table, I can see it forming. I can see these ones are already turning white inside, and this one hasn't quite yet, but it will. It's just going to take a second. Okay, I can see that a floor is formed. Now what we're going to do is put some of our sauteed mushrooms and onions on this side, on this half of the omelet. This is going to be so good. And then we put the cheese on this side, a 1/4 cup of cheese, more or less, it's up to you. 1/4 cup seems about right for this size omelet to me. Wow, that's going to be tasty. And I really am fueling myself on very long hikes with this food that I'm preparing in Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef. I hope you check out StepByStepChef.com for some recipes. And then what we're going to do is just cover this for 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, the cheese and egg side should be nice and solid. It shouldn't be runny. And then we can flip that over and we will have an omelet. So 2 minutes later, let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's what I want. You can see that the cheese and egg is no longer runny. So all I do is, I'm going to turn the heat off. There we go. And all I have to do is get the spatula under here and just give it a flip. There you go. There's a tasty, spicy sauteed mushroom and onion omelet. So congratulations, look at what you just made. Whether you are hiking Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier like I am, or you're camping in your own living room, this is an absolutely delicious omelet to make. Now, if you like this, please go to StepByStepChef.com. There you will find a printable recipe for this dish, along with printable recipes for over 175 other delicious dishes. You're also going to find YouTube videos, free links to YouTube videos, where I show you how to make each and every one of them. Yep, it's just you and me. The other thing you're going to find, since I'm doing Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef, is videos on how to tent camp comfortably, and it's easy. The other thing you'll find there is that it will be relevant to glampers, to cabin campers, to van campers, to RVers, and even the people who just throw down a tarp and fall asleep under the great outdoors. I can't do that. But anyways, please check out StepByStepChef.com. I'm Larry Richardson. I am dying to eat this so I can go hiking. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.